Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Our season has started and the lid is off. Not in 4 years. I think it's 4 years. Not in 4 years have we beaten Hawthorn. We've done it. We've done it already. We've done it in February. Was February? No, we did it in March, but it's done. We've conquered our biggest demon. This means that now we can go into this season uninhibited. And I don't want people here criticising me about it being a NAB game and not meaning anything. It means something to me. It means something to me to see a lot of good young kids out there performing to their best and taking it up to one of the better teams in the competition, despite the fact that a lot of their players are missing. We had 4 players missing too, so let's not forget about that. I am the Mighty T. Welcome to the second week of our preseason podcasting. And joining me tonight, I have the ever lovely and the ever faithful Magpie girl.
Hi, Mighty T. Hi, everybody.
How are you tonight, Magpie girl?
I'm really well, thank you.
That's good. Glad to hear it. And tonight we also have, for the first time in our podcast, another first time, we had Gone Critical. We ticked him off last week, and now we've got Demon Alk. How are you, mate?
Good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm just getting excited for the game on Sunday. Excited that football's consistently on. It's not a bad little time of year. Everyone seems very enthusiastic about things. So, very happy to be participating in a bit of footy again. I want to start by talking about the game against Hawthorn. I know I've started on an overly positive note, and who can blame me for that? It's always good to get a win, even if it is a preseason game. Demon Up, what were your thoughts on the game, and who really stood out for you?
I guess the game was good. It was really good to get back into the season. Well, the NAB Cup anyway. Bit starved for footy there for a little bit. I thought Degui, of course, he did quite a few nice things. There was a few players that I thought stood out.
I mean, it's hard to pick out individuals because if you actually look at the game as a whole, it was actually a really comprehensive performance by the team.
I agree.
And there were some shining lights, and again we did have a few players missing, obviously, and so did the Hawks. But I thought it was a great chance for someone like Pat Karnezis to really put his name up in the selection conversation. What did you think of Fasolo's game? I mean, he was a personal highlight for me.
Yeah, I thought he played a really good game as well. He's shown quite a bit forward at times. He just needs probably to put it together and make that happen over a few weeks at a time. And
I think that's the challenging thing as a small forward. I mean, it's the most difficult position to play. Almost in the AFL. If you get the touches, you can make something happen. If you don't, you're often marginalised and maligned by your supporters and the media alike. And we've certainly, been blessed to see, Jamie Elliott progress very well last year. But I think that what Fasolo brings is a very natural goal-scoring sense. Back to goals, but he knows where it is. He knows where to put the ball in his boot and always have a crack.
And a bit of X-Factor type stuff.
And it was like watching the Fazola of old, the one that we watched a couple of years ago. There was a sense of him coming back and really being fit again and having a chance to play the way he always plays. He's such an exciting player when he's running around like that.
Yeah, there's almost a sense of electricity when he gets the ball in his hand, like almost how, I always got that with Didac. Whenever you saw Didac, ball in hand streaming towards goal, you always thought, okay, something's going to happen here. It's the same with Alex. He's just got that, you said it right, Demon, that X factor. It's that it factor. It's very intangible, but it's there. But look, for me, the most pleasing aspect of the game, it was always going to be, to go out there and perform to a high standard and not have to worry about injury concerns. I mean, that's the biggest concern I always have when it comes to the preseason. Players getting hurt.
Absolutely, and I didn't think before the game that I'd see a decent performance without Pendlebury and Swine and Cloak and our pillars that have been stars for quite some time now.
In terms of the couple of recycled boys, Crisp and Greenwood, I thought they played their roles very well. I mean, they were essentially one of the big topics on the board this week has been the result of that, the Dane Beams trade, and people are going early and having a look at it and talking about, oh, maybe we did get the better end of the stick, win-win deal, etc. But I thought those two boys especially were pretty good. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I thought those two had a good game. I thought Jesse White, he showed quite a bit of desperation, which I really enjoyed seeing. There was a couple pieces of play I remember with Jesse where he just put in repeated efforts again and again, and that type of thing really excites me.
Well, I look forward to see how these guys back it up on Sunday. I think it's Sunday. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But we'll move on from the past into the more recent present. Demon Alk and Magpie Girl, I'm told that you both attended the Collingwood season launch last night, I believe. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yes, we did. And Demon Alk went as he was one of the prize winners of the draw for the ticket to go. So he and Speedy Tiger went along representing the player sponsorship group.
Yep.
And they had the opportunity to be sitting with Taylor Adam and got descended upon by the three mods.
Yeah, cool.
Who were also there, Vicky Park and Gone Critical. You give us all your thoughts, Demonel.
Yeah, it was a fantastic night. I could not... it could not have been better in any way. I still don't really have the words to describe how great it was seeing all the current players and especially all the 1990 heroes. Just so many great names of Collingwood all together. There wasn't too many missing, only like Mick McGuire and a couple of people, but everyone was there. It was such a fantastic evening.
Mm. It felt to me like it couldn't have been a better night. We had all the heroes of the 70s and
yes.
the 80s. There was Peter Moore and Peter McKenna and
Clokey,
and Cloak, who is a huge guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And looking just the same, except he's still got that big bushy moustache. It's just all grey now and all that hair, and it's just enormous.
Yep.
And just everywhere you looked, there were just your heroes, whether they were past heroes or today's. It was just wonderful. And to see that 1990 team up on the stage was just fantastic.
Oh, well, that looked nice like that, especially, and it's something that I hadn't realised myself until I went to the Copeland last year, and you really do get a strong sense of belonging, and certainly an augmented sense of connectedness to the club when you're attending events like that, and you can see.
It felt like the season launch. I mean, I haven't been to any of the other events, but last night most of the players didn't come with their partners. So it really felt like a night where they're there for the supporters.
Yes.
They all sit with their sponsors, and even though I'm sure they get tired of it, that the night is about them signing autographs and having their photo taken with whoever wants to take it with, and they're available to you in a way that they're probably not any other time of the year, and they do it with good grace, and
absolutely,
it was just terrific. Demon, now tell us a bit about Taylor Adams.
Taylor Adams he's a good kid, quite reserved and quiet, but definitely a bit of obsessive compulsiveness about him. I kept glancing in his direction during the night, and he's playing with his cutlery and making sure it's all dead perfect and placing it on top of each other and lining it up and just repeatedly doing it. So I thought that could be a good or a bad thing. Being a perfectionist.
Yeah, well, at least we know he has an eye for detail.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he spoke really well. He's really tough, and he couldn't talk better about Collingwood, and he had big raps for Schrarenberg. Yeah, didn't have a bad word to say about anything, of course, as you would do being a work function, but just a really seemed like a nice guy.
And you had Goodyear on the table as well, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, he's a quiet kid as well. Yeah, very family orientated, and he's had a long-term girlfriend, and he's a bit of a gamer and all that sort of stuff. So
that's it. That's really interesting. Such a such a good opportunity to find out a little bit, a little bit more about these guys who we never really see them on screen and plying their craft, and they're just regular kids who do their own thing and have their own lives. And sure, of course, we all know they are, but it sounded like a really great chance to humanise these athletes who carry the weight of an 80,000 strong membership base plus over 100,000 supporters all around the country on their shoulders. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, what a really cool opportunity. I'm very envious. That's fantastic. Great job, guys. What was the season launch all about last night? What in particular was the club celebrating?
Well, there was two facets to it, of course. The season launch part, which was sort of bringing all the new recruits into the club and presenting them with their jumpers and all that sort of stuff. And then there was the Hall of Fame side of it too. So that was celebrating past legends and past victories. So that was the major points of the night.
And I can imagine that as this night's happening so early in the year, there would be just this incredible amount of positivity around everything at the moment. So that's, it must have been quite an entertaining evening for you guys.
Absolutely.
And Eddie obviously spoke, and is always very inspiring. And you could listen to him for ages. Really, he just says everything you want to hear. But there was also a realistic note to it all. And Buckley also spoke, and he's very positive but very realistic, and just saying that all they want is all they ask from the players is their best, and whatever that results in is
to do their role.
Yeah, that's right. And they can't ask any more than that, but they do demand the best from everybody.
I've got a bit of footage of Buckley's speech and Lee Matthews talking and things like that I've uploaded to YouTube, but I've just got to trim it and do all those sort of things. I'm waiting for that to happen, and I'll link those when I get the chance.
Oh, great.
Excellent. There you go, guys. Inside knowledge from inside the season launch. Fantastic. Thanks, David. That'll be incredible to watch. I mean, look, he's such a great speaker, both of them actually. Bucks and Eddie really always hold themselves very well, and obviously they're never going to say anything bad about the club, but they can be incredibly inspirational, and I think that's what you need at the highest level from your football club. So those that doubt them, well, I know they're leading the club in the right way, so I couldn't be more happy.
Just before we move on, it was really nice to see Alan Richardson there last night. A few people have said how funny it was to have the coach of St Kilda there, but he was up there on the stage with them as part of that 1990 team, and it was a really lovely thing to see.
And Gavin Brown would have been there as well?
Yeah, Gavin Brown, yep.
Oh, beautiful. Well, look, that's fantastic. That's always great to see. So, and look, if we can get past Lee Matthews ripping us off from 2 grand finals in the early 2000s to have him there, then I'm sure that
sitting there in the middle of it all.
Yeah,
his autograph.
That's all I could think about when he was talking. I'm just like, oh, geez, 2002. 2003.
I was 12 years old at the time of that first grand final. I still haven't gotten over it, and I don't think I ever will. But you know what? It sounds like a terrific night, and kudos to you guys for providing such a high quality rundown of it and representing us at Big Footy well as always. I hope that we can keep up our association with the club, with the sponsorship for as long as possible, and that these opportunities still become available to us as they come up. So, great job, Magpie Girl, for organising the player sponsorship as always. And Damon Alk, thanks for getting down there and being able to report back in such a positive way.
Thank you guys so much.
Just on the player sponsorship, just a reminder to everybody who's listening that they can still join in if they want to, and in fact right up until the season starts. But if they want to be in the draw for the home and away tickets, they need to have paid by next Monday. So still open to anybody. And
not a bad idea if you're not already a member. There are a lot of people who opt to pass on the home and away tickets because they do have memberships. So you're in with a good chance.
You are, yep. Because in fact, there's a lot of people that don't need the home and away tickets, so you are in with a good chance.
Exactly right. How do you like that, mate? Pogo? What a nice plug to the sponsorship.
Thank you.
Now, shall we move forward to this weekend against the old enemy? It's always interesting when we cross paths with Carlton, and I've said this to a friend who supports Carlton, and I don't know why we're friends, but I don't think there's been a time in recent memory when Collingwood and Carlton have been so evenly positioned around the ladder. Both teams with very low expectation from very low realistic expectation, I think, from the realistic supporters. It should be a tight tussle between Collingwood and Carlton throughout the year. Demonak, what do you think about the game coming in? About the opposition? Try and keep off the negatives. And realistically, how do you think both teams will go this weekend?
This weekend, I'm sure it'll be tight at times. It'll be loose at times. They'll peter out towards the end of the match, but I'm sure it will be a good event to look at. I think Collingwood should, easily dispatch with Carlton, but I always think Collingwood should easily dispatch with Carlton.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, naturally, and it's good. I mean, it's really exciting for us. 4 big names back into the side. Well, 3 big names and Jared Blair, but Dane Swan, Scott Pendlebury, Travis Cloke, all into the side. I think Oxley's the only one that's been pulled for the moment. The squad will be cut down a little bit, but this is terrific. I mean, it's going to be a great opportunity. What do you think? What if you're one of the young guys at the club at the moment, and this is your first chance to play alongside Scott Pendlebury? Would you be feeling nervous, or would it be maybe a sense of comfort that this guy, this legend, is next to you?
I'd be nervous, but that's probably my personality. I'd be very nervous lining up next to Pendlebury, or even anywhere near him.
But who could disagree with that? I mean, he's got such a presence, such an aura. Like I think I've got a photo of myself and Dane Swan from last year's Copeland, and I'm just beaming like a Cheshire cat because I'm so excited because look, it's Dane Swan.
Absolutely.
And you got the feeling that, I remember watching last year, watching Ben Kennedy, when he came on and tried to impact games, it's almost like he was trying to do too much. And I feel like some of these young guys can suffer from a bit of that. So hopefully they all take it in their stride. What sort of things will you be looking for this week from the club? Constant improvement on what we saw in the Hawthorn game, more of the same, or anything in particular?
Yeah, just mostly more game plan type things. Hopefully they work together as a team, which I thought they did that really well last week. Defensively, I'd like to see more of Langdon getting the ball. It's always nice to see him with it. It's always something calm and easy happening, and always dispatches it well. So I'll be looking forward to watching Langdon.
What about yourself, Magpie Girl? I trust you'll have eyes on the product this weekend.
Oh, look, I hope I can get to see it. I have to go and find a Foxtel screen somewhere. But just talking about defence, it'd be nice to see Nathan Brown play with a little more confidence this week. I can understand why he looked a bit wary the first week, and especially as that Hawthorn player went off so early with a similar sort of problem. But yeah, it'd be nice to see him building his confidence and getting into the game more. I found the last game really enjoyable to watch. And, there just was a lot of flow and a lot of run, and they were just having a great time. I think that's one of the things I just really notice about the guys this year is how happy and relaxed they all look, and there's a real joy in their running around, and they just have a sense of teamwork and just they're all on the same page kind of thing. It's just it's so much more obvious at the moment than it has been for such a long time. So more of that, yeah.
Yeah, there's a calmness about it all. Everyone seems very, very at ease at the moment, and I think that's good. Obviously, the heat of the season hasn't started yet, and the microscope hasn't been put on the players as such because there's no negative performance to report on, despite a bit of a barb from Little Herald Sun writers. But I mean, at the end of the day, as a club, we're gonna receive comments like that consistently. Questioning the leadership, questioning Bucks. Eddie makes a lot of noise, so he attracts attention no matter what happens. On your comment about Nathan Brown, I agree with you. I can't imagine how difficult it would be for someone like him psychologically to step out onto the park when your body's let you down consistently, and trying to find that confidence within yourself that your body won't break down again. I can imagine that would be quite difficult.
And Ben Reid will probably be the same. I mean, they've had so many instances where they've come back after long breaks with injury, supposedly ready to go, and they seem to be out there 5 minutes and break down again. So there's the wariness there that you can't blame them for. There's such a sense of commitment, I think, from all the guys. That's what I really, feel and enjoy watching.
Well, my hope is that we can ride this wave of momentum into round one, past this weekend. I mean, once again, it won't mean a lot to me no matter the result. It'll be nice to beat Carlton, obviously, as always. But a bit of consistent improvement from the kids is really what we're hoping for. Now, Magpie Girl, I believe that you had a couple of things you wanted to discuss before we finish up.
Well, I've already mentioned the player sponsorship, but just one other thing. There's a thread on the board that's called it's a sort of, the idea of it is to be a sort of swap meet for anybody who's got unwanted jumpers or jackets or gear of any Pies nature or is looking for something. One of the things that came to light when we were helping Specious Argument was, there were quite a few people who said, I've got a jumper and I've got scarves and I've got hats and things, and it just occurred to me that there must be a lot of things sitting in drawers that's not being used. So if you do have things that you would like to pass on or sell or swap, then, that's the place.
Perfect. I mean, it sounds like a good place to go. And as I said, if we can, it's better than, as you say, better than having something sit away in the drawers gathering dust. If it can be put to use and someone can get a bit of Collingwood colour on them, I think that's terrific. A terrific initiative and a good thing that we should be looking into and trying to support,
especially for the kids. I mean, a lot of people have young kids, and it's it's obviously expensive replacing their jumpers every year. So as they grow out of them, maybe they can be passed on to somebody else.
Definitely. Definitely. Magpie Girl, I think it's time for us to wrap up. So thank you very much for coming on tonight. It's been a pleasure as always and giving us a nice rundown of last night's event.
Thanks, Mighty T.
Demon Alk, thanks for being on as well. Great to have you aboard for the first time. I hope you decide to join us again later on in the season when the whips get cracking and I get a little bit less, patient with the club.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity to go to the season launch again last night, Magpie Girl. That was a night I won't forget.
Oh, it was lovely to meet you and to spend some time with you both. So it was good fun.
Yes, nice to meet the mods too.
Well, hopefully we all get the chance to catch up at another event or something in the near future. But for the time being, hopefully we get a win over the weekend. And please tune in again next week when we dissect the game and talk all things Collingwood again. This is the Mighty T signing out.